Greenberg. Jesus Valles is a teacher and writer-performer in Austin. He's a recipient of a fellowship from Undocupoets, a group that promotes the work of the undocumented poets. His one-person play, Undocuments, won Valles 2018 B. Iden Payne Theater Awards for lead actor and original script. Jesus Valles.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I walked in today, and the first question I was asked was, "How's your world?" I think, or "How's the world?" And I appreciated like the love and earnestness of the question because I knew what the person meant, and also the immediate response was terrible. There are new horrors every day. I find myself making small homes for myself and other people's poems. And I find other people's work, the small wells that I get water from every day as I await opening up a new cycle that will tell us that things are indeed terrible. So I selected poems that I really liked and that I felt energized by, or that I felt spoke in ways that were absolutely true. Because I think we are at a moment where it is really easy to take a platitude and want to hold on to it as truth. Love trumps hate, which is a very sweet sentiment, and no one ever talks about love as action. So instead we have poetry. A New National Anthem by 881. The truth is, I've never cared for the national anthem. If you think about it, it's not a good song. Too high for most of us with the rocket's red glare. And then there are the bombs. Always, always there is war and bombs. Once, I sang it at homecoming and threw even the tenacious high school band off key. But the song didn't mean anything. Just a call to the field, something to get through before the pummeling of youth. And what of the stanzas we never sing? The third, that mentions, no refuge could save the hireling and the slave. Perhaps the truth is, every song of this country has an unsung third stanza, something brutal, snaking underneath us as we blindly sing the high notes with a beer sloshing in the stands, hoping our team wins. Don't get me wrong, I do like the flag, how it undulates in the wind like water, elemental, and best when it's humbled, brought to its knees, clung to by someone who has lost everything. When it folds up so perfectly you can keep it until it's needed, until you can love it again, until the song in your mouth feels like sustenance, a song where the notes are sung by even the ageless woods, the short grass plains, the red river gorge, the fistful of land left unpoisoned. That song, that's our birthright. That's sung in silence when it's too hard to go on. That sounds like someone's rough fingers weaving into another's. That sounds like a match being lit in an endless cave. The song that says, my bones are your bones, and your bones are my bones. And isn't that enough? The next piece is by Camille Dungy, and it's called What I Know I Cannot Say. We sailed to Angel Island, and for several hours I did not think of you. When I couldn't stop myself, finally, from thinking of you, it was not really you, but the trees. Not really the trees, but their strange pods, blooming for a little while longer. A bloom more like the fringed fan at the tip of a peacock's tail than anything I'd call a flower. And so I was thinking about flowers and what we value in a flower more than I was thinking of the island or its trees. And much more than that, I was thinking of you. Recursive language ties us together. Linguists say, I am heading down this road. I am heading down this road despite the caution signs and the narrow shoulders. I am heading down the curvy road despite the caution signs and the narrow shoulders because someone I fell in love with once lived somewhere near. Right there. That is an example of recursive language. Every language, nearly every language in the world, demands recursion. Few things bring us together more than our need to spell out our intentions, which helps explain the early 20th century Chinese prisoners who scratched poems into the walls on Angel Island, and why a Polish detainee wrote his mother's name in 1922. I was here. They wanted to tell us, and by here they meant the island, and they meant also the world. And by the island they meant the world they knew, and they also meant the world they left, and the world they wanted to believe could be theirs. The world they knew required passwords. Think of the Angel Island immigration station as purgatory, the guide explained. He told tales of paper fathers, picture brides, the fabrications of familiarity so many lives depended on. Inquiries demanded consistency, despite the complications of interpretation. In English, one would ask, how many windows were in your house in the village? How many ducks did you keep? What is the shape of the birthmark on your father's left cheek? In Japanese, Cantonese, Danish, Punjabi, the other answered. Then, it all had to come back to English. The ocean is wide and treacherous between one home and the other. There can be no turning back, no correction. Once what is said is said. Who can blame the Chinese detainees who carved poems deep into the wood on Angel Island's walls? Who can blame the Salvadoran who etched his village's name? Few things tie us together more than our need to dig up the right words, to justify ourselves. Travelers and students, we sailed into the bay, disembarked on Angel Island. I didn't think about you, which is to say, the blue gum eucalyptus is considered a threat, though we brought it across oceans to help us. Desired first for its timber, because it grows quickly, and so was expected to provide a practical fortune, and when it did not, enlisted as a windbreak, desired still because of it is growing and practical, the blue gum has colonized the California coastal forests, squeezing out native plants, dominating the landscape, and increasing the danger of fire. I should hate the blue gum eucalyptus, but from the well of their longing, by which I mean to say from their pods, you know what I mean, I hope, their original homes, from the well of their longing, blooms explode like fireworks. I love them for this. Do you hear me? I absolve you. You are far too beautiful and singular to blame. Executive Order by Susanna Lang. When a man is held at the airport because our borders closed while his plane was still in the air, the tumblers in our locks fall out of alignment, and our front doors refuse entrance to our keys. When the man is held at the airport, is not allowed to speak with a lawyer, the keys break off in our back doors. There are no locksmiths available, though we call every number we can find. When the man's son stirs in his sleep 1,600 miles away from the airport, where his father now waits for a return flight, our first floor windows paint themselves shut, and wrought iron bars install themselves over the glass. When the man is put on a plane back to the place where officials wait to escort him to prison, we sit on our front stoops, the January wind finding his skin where our sleeves do not quite meet our gloves. And now I'm going to read one of my own poems before returning to the last two. I spent the summer at a few writing retreats, and a really great icebreaker question for folks is where's home for you? Where's home? And for migrant folks, that's a really difficult question to answer because home is a number of places, and none of them ever quite stuck or stick. So I wrote this as a response to the question, so just picture the title being asked by a very well-meaning person who loves poetry at a summer retreat and who has the wherewithal financially to be there. And Jesus, where is home for you? Where is home is a place question I only have time answers for. And time is a question of everybody left that place. Is a lie because there are still those we left behind. Is a Chinese exclusionary act becomes the blueprint for the hurt. How to best turn a people into a plague is, years later, Ronald Reagan signs a Simpson-Mazzoli Act, is Haitian blood shut out, is 3 million people seen visas, is a pregnant mommy, swole fat, rose-cheeked lady, is a belly full of promised green card, is a bridge crossed, is a bridge burnt when she births the paper baby in Juarez, is a Mexican and illegally crossed baby, is a wetback if it can't make that pretty mouth sound, is a tongue-shaped coup, and all the little teeth is a way to pass the time, which is a place, is a 1996 Clinton hand signing a law, is the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act, is a pinche mamada, is another way to say you are not welcome, is a brutal brick in Obama's Dream Act, is another way to say wait, just wait, is another way to say no, not them, we meant the good ones, is we couldn't all go to Abuelito's funeral. Sin papeles, death is like that, is sometimes all I want to do is die too, is the spirit of the law, means all of the parchment is haunted, is a ghost is the only way we can get out or in, is it would be some bullshit if the next life had checkpoints, is the thing I hated about Coco and Beetlejuice, is even the dead can't avoid bureaucracy, and is the refusal of any god that asks for proof I lived a sin, is a notice to appear, is an order for deportation, is an executive order, and an executive order is a way to kill a people whose only home is a time, is a way of saying it might be best to ask me when is home, and I will show you every ugly time thing living inside me. The last two poems, the first is by Audre Lorde, who I think has given so many folks, specifically black women, places to house themselves in, and because of her work and their work, I think so many of us who are writers and theorists and people of color are made to feel less alone in this world. So for Audre Lorde, Presente, when the saints come marching in. Plentiful sacrifice and believers in redemption are all that is needed. So any day now I expect some new religion to rise up like tear gas from the streets of New York, erupting like the rank pavement smell released by a garbage truck's baptismal drizzle. High priests are ready and waiting, their incense pans full of fire. I do not know the rituals, the exhalations, nor what the name of the God the survivors will worship. I only know she will be terrible, very busy, and very old. And finally, this is the poem that ends the collection. And in many ways, I think there is a lot of hope in the poem. And in many ways, the poem, to me, in some ways reads as an elegy of what we have failed to do and what I think we will continuously fail to do. And what we try and attempt to do, and hopefully the beauty that those attempts at doing anything will create. Let them not say, by Jane Hirschfeld. Let them not say, we did not see it, we saw. Let them not say, we did not hear it, we heard. Let them not say, they did not taste it, we ate, we trembled. Let them not say, it was not spoken, not written, we spoke. We witnessed with voices and hands. Let them not say they did nothing. We did not enough. Let them say, as they must say something, a kerosene beauty. It burned. Let them say we warmed ourselves by it, read by its light, praised, and it burned.